What did you watch?
No, I make, but I was practicing.
Oh, you made it yourself?
No, but I try my best to practice, but it's almost like an animation, but it's just like kind of laggy. Just an itty bit because I'm practicing. I almost got to the winning part.
Oh my goodness! And how do you do that?
Watching YouTube.
So you watch YouTube how to create it?
No, I just watch an animation and I just think on my head is how the movement make and how we gonna separate the body parts and just make a pose, and then one part is supposed to be the beginner and the end is need to be smooth, because like if an end is just cut, then it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Wow, Jenny, I'm so impressed with you. That is amazing. And tell me, so are you nearly finished with it?
No, I just make it because I'm trying my best which character is perfect for doing it, and I have to make a pose and make the movement, you know?
Okay. Oh, you will figure it out because you're very smart. And Jenny, please, I want to know next time if you manage to figure it out and to smooth it out, okay? So don't forget to tell me because I want to know. And I want you to show me as well. Would you be able to show me next time?
No, I don't think it's perfect. It's kind of laggy.
It's okay, but when it is perfect, will you show it to me?
Okay.
Okay, that's a good deal. So, Jenny, let's have fun today because we are going to talk about reading the newspapers and watching the news. So, Jenny, do you ever watch the news on YouTube or on TV or even on your computer?
No, it's too boring.
But have you ever watched the news?
Yes.
Was there a time that you just
What
can you remember? What was it?
It was about a storm that's gonna come to the place, and it's gonna be a lot, and it's kind of like it's gonna make a river, you know?
Like a flood.
Yes.
Okay, so it's gonna cause a flood. Yeah. I know. So when they announce those important things, especially the warnings, the weather warnings, then we need to pay attention. Adults usually read or watch news to find out what's going on in the world. Children usually ignore the news. Is this okay if children ignore the news?
Well, that's just in my opinion. As a kid, we don't have to worry about anything because, like, if we did watch something and we need to prepare for it, we don't know what to do because that's just on our parents' side. Besides that, we also need our parents to help us. And other than that, we don't really know what to do rather than just let it just happen.
I kind of agree with you because our parents are there to inform us if something very urgent or something very important is happening. And do you think, just 1 second, sorry, Jenny. Sorry, Jenny. My dog, she is playing with her toy very loudly. So I just needed to quiet her. So, okay, so let's have a look. So, do you think we should study news at school? What do you think? Do you think we should, for example, that we should have a subject which is news, or the teacher should tell us, okay, today we're going to look at the news, and then for a half an hour discuss important things that was shown on the news. Do you think we should do that in school?
Maybe, at least we learn something new.
I also think we can learn something from that. Okay, so we're going to look at this table here below and think of any big events that have happened recently. Okay. Is there any big news story that you got told at school, or that your parents might have told you, or that you heard from anyone that you can remember?
You mean like a tragic place, or is it just like something happened?
It can be a tragedy, it can be anything, doesn't matter.
Oh, I remember one of my friends in kindergarten. Now I don't know why, but it just come up to my head. So she had her full family, her half family was just happy, but then her dad got her a dog on her birthday. She was very happy, but then few weeks later, the dog somehow got his neck trapped on the cage. You know, like those bars. His head go through. His head go through, and then he got stuck. Yes, and then he howls, but nobody hears. It was from the backyard, and nobody hears because they were sleeping. It's just almost morning. They were sleeping, so the dog howls, and then somehow it bleeds. I don't know why, but the ball's pretty sharp, and then it's just dead. She was pretty sad though.
It is. Sharon, how did your friend feel about it? Because it's her dog.
Yeah, she was having so much fun with it, but it didn't last long.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I think what happened was, so its little neck maybe got stuck and through the wires, and then it got caught there, and then it shaved. Yeah. So and then it started, because if you shave the skin with wires, it starts bleeding, because it's very soft skin for the animal. I think that's what kind of happened. Shame, that is a tragic story. And tell me, when did this happen? Was it recently?
Well, it was recently. Now, it's kind of counts because I didn't saw her in my school for a few days before she came back.
Oh, so you haven't seen her since she came back.
Yes.
Right. And tell me, do you know any big events regarding sport that recently happened that you know of? Do you know what's happening currently in Paris?
No. I didn't watch anything interesting that's kind of with Paris, no.
Do you know what is the Olympics?
Yes.
So currently the Olympics is taking place in Paris, and all the best of the best, they are participating in the Olympics. Have you seen anything on TV recently regarding the Olympics?
No, but I heard that in Paris there's something, in the US, something bad happened. Like, there was a sport. Now, that was a few years ago, but I still gonna tell you. Well, the US came up with a sport that people could go and watch. But that's one thing. They accidentally tell the wrong time, and the sport was supposed to be a few weeks, but accidentally says it was recently today. So people came and nothing happened. They were angry, they were stomping their feet, and some says this sucks, and then went pretty bad. And then when the Olympic happened, One person died. One person.
Oh no!
One person died. Yeah, and then they had to stop the Olympic because he was about to pass away with blood loss, and probably he didn't make it though. And
Oh my goodness!
also,
That's so sad.
also, our cleaning supplies were just somehow it's just in the middle of the sports. I think people some people works there and they trying to clean the place, like sweep out the leaf, but one person kind of thought it was a place for drinking, but the water is toxic. So yeah.
The water was toxic.
Yeah, so he drank it. He didn't know. And I can't blame him.
Oh, he didn't know.
I can't blame him because there didn't any sign or cleaning supply there because there was just only cup of them. I think there was a...
I know.
I think they are about to make it like that. That is supposed to be a place that people came and get their drink in food.
Yes.
But they accidentally had one cleaning supplies that kind of looked like a bottle. So he thought it was supposed to be drinking. He left the money, he drank it, and then quit.
Yeah. Well, I would do the same.
Yeah.
Oh no! And then he died of the water or the liquid that was in the bottle.
Yeah.
So it was in dark. Oh my goodness! Wow! I'm definitely going to do some research on that. Thank you for informing me about that, Jenny. It's amazing how you remember that. And tell me, do you remember any big thing or like event that happened in your city or country about severe weather, like a storm or anything that happened recently?
Well, it's never happened, but what happened in the past, you know? Now, a past, I don't know why, but this is kind of silly because normally in the past, they have cows just roaming around the streets. Sometimes the cow just eats someone's trash for no reason because I just saw that. And I saw the cutest thing is they have a baby cow, which is cute. But
do you know what you call a baby cow?
No.
A calf.
Oh.
A calf. Yeah. A baby cow. It's called a calf. It's a baby cow.
Yeah.
So and then.
And now normally the cows just roaming around, and today is not. So today the weather is kind of big. The rain is kind of like not stopping, and it kind of making a big wave. Just like it's kind of like equal to a stomach, I guess. Equal to a stomach. It's kind of like I don't know which age is perfect for that size because I don't even remember which. But I did saw a cow just like got stuck in there. Just kind of like you ever saw a cereal that had one grain and then you stir it and it kind of make wave for it and just splash around with one grain? Yeah, I did saw that. It kind of looked like that.
Oh, so the cow was like, the cow couldn't get out.
And it's kind of funny, but also kind of tragic for that cow. But the scariest part is storm, you know, big storm.
So what we call that is, Jenny, we say the cow was stuck in the stream because the water makes a stream that like pushes you around, which you're struggling to get out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you can remember that word, stream.
Okay.
So it makes like a yeah, that was good. Well done, Jenny. So tell me, what is the best way to follow the news? If you had to follow the news, which one would be the best way to follow it?
Well, I think the best way to follow the news is because I only hear the big parts, the most important part of all, and the other one I just throw it away. So,
and tell me, would you watch it on TV or would you watch it on YouTube? Where would you watch the news?
well,
On social media?
social media would be good because I can just scroll and just saw it away and not just have to look for it and wait for it too.
Absolutely. And how often do you read or watch the news? Do you ever watch it or read it?
Only if I saw some content or the video that look interesting, or the word they type is kind of look interesting, so if I'm curious enough, then I will watch it. That's why.
I like it. Yeah, that's very interesting. What makes it that makes you intrigued. Do you know what the word intrigue means?
Yes, but I don't know how to describe it.
So I would watch something because intrigue means interesting. So if you are interested in something, I'm quite intrigued by it. I will only watch it if I am intrigued by the news. If I'm interested or it's something that excites you. Right.
Okay.
Because Jenny, you can use those big words. You're very smart. Okay. So are you going to remember intrigue?
Yes.
Of course you're going to remember that. Do you like to know what things are happening in the world? Do you like to know about things happening all over the world or not?
Yes.
And why?
Because I'm just curious, and if I knew something in outside world, then it's kind of like intrigues me, because like I don't even know what different country would be like. And I just heard in the horror movie that in the Filipinos, it's like if the person saw you, like you normally saw yourself like intact, perfect, nothing different. But the Filipino person saw you in the outside is they saw you different because they saw you without the head, blood streaming out. They didn't saw your head, just blood streaming out of the neck. So by that, to avoid that, you need to burn your clothes, because if you don't burn your clothes, then bad thing will happen to you, and then you will die in a Filipino term.
Oh my goodness! Where did you hear that?
Because I like to watch horror movie. Then that's how I found it.
So you saw it in a horror movie? Okay, now I'm with you. Okay, so Jenny, thank you for sharing that, but that's very scary, and I will never even consider going there, because imagine, I would never see for the rest of my life. So reading newspapers and watching the news, can you read for us, what are the people's opinions on this article?
As our world is a busy place and many important things are happening all the time, many students say they don't have time to read or watch the news. Maybe we should introduce a class about the news in schools. Some people say that in the introduction of a news class in school necessary. Students are adolescents, but they need to know.
Adults. You know what is? Students are adolescents. Do you know what is adolescents? It's the same as adults.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is where the word adults comes. They are young adults. Adolescents are young adults.
Okay. But they need to know what is happening in this world. Many events can change the life of students. Therefore, it's important that they have a chance to read, learn, and discuss what is happening. Another advantage is that students can learn many skills in this class. They will improve their reading, listening, vocabulary, and thinking skill. These are the skills that employers want. Other people say that a class about the news is unnecessary in school. One reason is that the news changes so much. As a result, the new events that students study a week ago will become useless quickly. This is a waste of student time. Another problem is that news stories may be scary for young people. News about war can worry children and teenagers. Students have many things to do. They don't need any more stress.
That was well read. Okay, so now we know what other people's opinions are. Now, tell me, based on what you read, Jenny, why do students not read or watch news?
Because some people say that it's kind of boring and all we can do is just watch and listening, and it could cause a lot of stress on for young people. They have already have enough stress. Watching us is just putting them just more tragic. They will worry about the news more than they worry about real life, I think.
That's very true. Well said. That was good. And why should students know what is happening in the world based on what you read?
Because as a kid, we can just roam around, have a peaceful life and happy life. But the more we grow, the more we need to understand the reality of the world. We need to know the reality, and we need to know every part of our world. And by that, we need to stop being gullible and independent by ourselves by listening to the news and know more about the reality. And we could have a lot of money just by the job, you know.
And do you think if kids know more what's happening in the world, they might make better decisions?
I think so, depending on which kid.
Yeah, yes, depending on which kid. That is so true. And what are some skills that students can improve by studying the news?
Well, they could know more, they could prepare more, and they could, know more about the reality. And maybe grow up, they could be independent and watch the news more and know more, so they could prepare more.
Yeah, they can make provision, they can do better planning. Absolutely. And why is it a problem that the news event changes so often? Why is that a problem? Can we keep up with the news then or not?
Well, depending on which is the perfect time they have changed and why reason they change. The reason they change is because they just found out new things that's about to happen, and they don't want the people to watch and just don't know what is then another part is going to happen. So they need to discuss it so people could know and prepare it more. Besides that, if they just hide it away, then people wouldn't know and then just let it happen. So that's going to be a bad day for them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And studying news articles about war may be a problem for students. Why?
Well, it will be depending on which kid personalities. So if they're gullible or not, or depending or not, then well, they could be stressed that if their country will be smaller or not, or if their house will be burned down by the war, or they could hurt people screaming, suffering, and stuff, and so the loved one just slowly fade away like ash. It's kind of like what stress is kind of like in war for students.
Yeah, and do you think some kids might be sensitive to some of these news articles?
Maybe.
I think they might, because they also don't know what happened then. They also don't understand why. If they maybe had the background and they were informed or educated, then maybe they would find it interesting. But if someone is not educated of why things are happening, it becomes a little bit tricky. So moving on to the next part, Jenny, that was really good. Well done on your comprehension. So moving on to vocabulary part. Okay, so I already explained to you a dozen. Do you remember the meaning, or would you like me to explain it again?
No, I already know it.
Perfect. Introduction, you fine with?
What?
Introduction, do you know what is an introduction?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you know what is necessary? Yeah, that you know, scary, you know, and useless, you know. I know you know that. Okay, so number 1 to 5, can you read the sentences and choose the correct vocabulary word?
It was scary when I was stuck in an elevator. 2, an adolescent is usually between 12 and 18 years old. 3,
that means young adult.
Yeah. 3, this day is useless to learn how to use a computer, I think. No.
It's useless, or do you think?
No. It's
we
necessary.
Have to use it every day.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
Number 2
there we go. Well done.
The corporate browser was useless. 3,
there we go.
The introduction of the internet to the world was an amazing event.
Excellent, well done. Yeah, so the internet, we cannot function without the internet. Okay, so Jenny, moving on to our supporting and refuting opinions. So you're going to read number 1 to 4 for our supporting and then match it with A to D. Okay, so can you kindly do that for us?
It's good for students to study the news. 2, students who study the news have many things to talk about. 3, children and adolescents shouldn't study the news. The news is too difficult for students to understand. A, because news stories are about bad things. This makes children sad. B, because they know many things happening in the world. C, because they're too young to understand the world. D, because they can get good score in school assignment. If 1 is good for students to study the news, it's D.
Okay, because they can get good scores in school assignments, okay?
2, students who study news have many things to talk about. It's B. 3, students and adolescents shouldn't study the news. It's A.
Yeah, because that's the effect it has on them.
4, the news is too difficult for students to understand. It's C.
Excellent. Well done, Jenny. That was really good. Now let's go over to the refuting part. Okay. I'm just going to scroll down for you. Can you kindly do the refuting part for us, the same as the opposing?
A student can improve their vocabulary by studying the news. 2, it's important for students to know what is happening in the world. 3, the news is too difficult for children to understand. 4, students shouldn't study news stories because they change so quickly. A, there are much better ways than studying the news to improve student vocabulary skill. B, that doesn't matter. Students learn many important skills when using the news. See, not really. Students need to focus on the studies to get the score. They don't need to know what is happening in places far away. This is not true. There are many simple new articles and teacher can explain them too. One, student can improve their vocabulary by studying the new. Is B. No. It's A.
Because it's about vocabulary. Yeah. Excellent. So the keyword is vocabulary. What about number 2?
It's important for students to know what is happening in the world. Is C. 3. The news is too difficult for students to understand. Is D.
Yeah.
4. Students shouldn't study news story because they change so quickly. Is B.
Okay, well done, Jenny. That was really good. Okay, so now you've got a better idea of what other people think about the news. Now, let's have a look at the supporting opinion. Once again, you're going to read it first for us before we identify the main idea with the supporting opinion. So, can you read the supporting opinion for us?
Students should study the news in school. One reason is that everybody, including young people, need to know what is happening in the world. Students who watch or read the news can understand our world, and another benefit is that students can learn skills that will help them to be successful. When a teacher discusses the news with his or her class, the student can learn general knowledge. They also learn think about what's right and what is wrong.
Fantastic. Okay, so what is the main idea of the supporting opinion?
A student should study the news in school.
Okay, now can you give me the supporting ideas? Why should students study news in school?
As one reason is that everybody, including young people, need to know what's happening in the world.
They need to know what's happening in the world.
Who watch or read the news can understand the world.
So by reading the news,
Another benefit is that students can learn skills that will help them to be successful.
So they will learn a skill that will help them to be successful. So first, so they know what's happening by reading the news, and then they will learn skills that will help them to be successful. Okay. Any other supporting ideas?
Teacher discusses the news with his or her classes. The student can learn general knowledge.
So general knowledge is important, and what else?
They also learn to think more about what's right, what's wrong.
There we go. Okay, so those are the 4 ones. So they learn general knowledge, know what is right and wrong. They learn skills how to be successful. Okay, and also they know what's happening in the world by reading the news. Okay, and that's why they should study news in school. So that is a summary now for you. Now let's move over to the opposing part.
It is not a good idea for students to study the news in school. First, students have now many subjects to learn. Adding one more subject does not help the student. Docents need to get good scores in subjects like Korean, English, and science. The news is not important. Second, almost other news stories are about bad things. Young people don't need to know about horrible stories. These are young and they are young and should be happy.
Well done. Okay, what is the main idea?
As it's not good idea for students to study the news in school.
Okay, so give us the reasons why.
Students have so many subjects to learn. Adding one more subject does not help the student. I do so.
Okay, Okay, so adding one more subject does not help the student, okay, because they've already got so much to do. The next reason
is they need to get good score in subject like Korean, math, English, and science.
Guys, and they need to get good scores so they can't focus on more, yeah. Okay. The other reason?
The news not important. Second, almost all news stories are about bad things.
All news about bad things, yes, and what else?
Young people don't need to worry about horrible stories. They are young and should be happy.
No need to worry about horrible stories. They are young and should be happy. Okay. So once again, why should kids not? Why it's not a good idea for students to study news in school? Okay, because they really have many subjects to learn, and adding another subject doesn't help them. And because they need to get good scores in the other subjects, and it's also some news are not important. And all news stories are normally bad things, and young people don't need to know horrible stories, and they are young and should be happy. Okay, so that is the summary of it. Now, let's move over. Well done, Jenny, that was really good. Now that we have done that, let's answer the following question. So, do you think students have enough time to study the news in their free time? Not at school, but in their free time.
It's just based on what students like the most. So I think students have enough time to read the news in their free time. It's just based on their personalities and which hobby they think and what they trust the most, you know.
Very true. And tell me, would you watch the news or maybe go on social media to see what's happening in the world in your free time?
If I have my own home, or I am just 12 or 18, then sure, because I want to know what is gonna happen. Or I will get soaked in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jenny. And is it important to know what is happening in other countries, not just in your country, but in other countries in the world?
Well, if you're curious what countries if you're curious about worlds or the cultures, then sure. And if you did want to know what happened in other country and you just watch the news or watch a video, then it could be interesting and curious for you based on what you think about it. And if you want to go in other countries and you're curious what's gonna happen and which rules or laws in the other countries, then maybe you can watch or know what countries that you're gonna go in. And sure.
Very true. I like that. And should we believe everything that we see in the news? What do you think? What is your personal opinion?
It's just based on the news, which news it is, if it's a scam or not, just based on that. But I think you should. If you don't believe it, okay, then just let it happen. If you believe it, then I don't know.
And say, for example, you had to watch the news now. They say on the news, guys, there's a big warning, okay? There is going to, let's see. There's going to be a big storm that's going to hit the city like in the next day. Please be careful. Please find some lower ground and shelter. Would you pay attention to that warning?
Yes. If I look at other people, if they believe it, then I will believe it. If they don't believe it, then I don't believe it. But just based on which person that I trust the most, and not just random stranger.
Yeah, and who would you who would you look to? Who would you go to or ask if this is true? Who do you trust?
Well, if I was independent on my own, then normally if I transfer to a new home or new department and I was on my own, then normally I would be friends with my neighbor, because if I don't have a friend, then I will suffer.
Very true. Yeah, you need to have a friend. Absolutely. And you will definitely ask your friend if it is true or not. Because if you see your friend finding some shelter, then you would also follow your friend. And do you think studying the news will be more fun than studying other school subjects at school?
Well, I don't know if the way the teacher teach, if it's interesting and fun, then yes, that would be a great day. But if the teachers just do their normal things, talking and teach, then that would be kind of boring. And if it's 1 minute, then equal to 1 year, based on my stories.
Oh my goodness! Thank you for your honesty. That is really good. And we need to. It's so important that things are interesting. Okay, especially when it comes to news. Otherwise, there's no point of us even listening to the information. Otherwise, we're just gonna sit there and think about other things that we want to do, and maybe what we want to play, things that we want to buy. So we need the teacher to make it very interesting and show us. But I think that mysterious things that on the news, I think they need to share that, because it can teach a lot of things. And at what age should students begin reading the news? What do you think?
Maybe like 12 or 11.
And should they watch the news or should they read the news in the newspaper?
I think read the news, not watch it.
And why do you think read?
Because it's just much more faster when we read it with our mind.
Yeah. And do you think they will remember it if they read it?
I think so. It's just that if young people have greater memory than older people, I guess.
Okay, so Jenny, that was amazing. Now for homework, you're gonna choose which one would you like to debate? Number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Well, 3.
Students shouldn't study the news until they are in high school. Okay, once again, you are going to oppose and refute for us, and then you will send the recording to me. So Jenny, tell me, did you enjoy today's session about the news?
Yes.
Okay. But Jenny, you did really, really great today, and thank you for that. And also, I'm excited for you to finish your animations, okay? And please keep me posted, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, Jenny. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.